How to stay motivated when results are slow. Most beginners quit too soon. Have you ever worked really hard on building an online business, only to feel like absolutely nothing is happening? You create videos, you write blog posts, you build a website, and you post on social media. Then you check your views, and there are only 5. You check your earnings, and there are none. Does that sound familiar? Today I'm going to show you why slow results don't mean you're failing, and how to stay motivated long enough to reach the point where success finally starts to happen. Because the biggest difference between people who build successful online businesses and those who quit often comes down to one simple thing, and that is that they kept going. Everyone wants fast results. We live in a world where everything feels instant. Food arrives in minutes, movies stream immediately, and packages show up the next day. So naturally, many people expect an online business to work the same way. For example, you launch your website, you post a few videos, and you may write a couple of blog articles. Then you expect traffic to appear almost overnight, and when it doesn't, it's easy to think something is wrong. But building an online business simply doesn't work like that. Think of it more like planting a garden. You don't plant seeds today and expect tomatoes tomorrow. There's a growing season. Online businesses work exactly the same way. The hidden stage nobody talks about. One of the hardest parts of building an online business is something called the invisible stage. This is the period where you're putting in a lot of effort but almost nobody notices. Your website may have only a handful of visitors, your YouTube videos may only get 20 views, your email list might have just 3 subscribers, and yet you're working harder than ever. This stage feels frustrating because you can't see much progress. But underneath the surface, important things are happening. You're learning, you're improving, you're building skills, and you're creating content that can continue working for years. Every successful creator has gone through this stage. The difference is they didn't mistake invisible progress for no progress. Success rarely happens in a straight line. Many beginners imagine success looking like this: a little more traffic every week, a little more money every month, a steady climb upward. However, reality looks completely different. Sometimes nothing happens for weeks. Then suddenly one article starts ranking, one video gets recommended, one Pinterest pin takes off, and one email brings in your first sale. Growth often comes in bursts rather than a straight line. That's why quitting too early is so common. Many people stop just before things begin to improve. The bamboo tree lesson. Have you ever heard the story of the Chinese bamboo tree? It's often used as a reminder that some of the most important growth happens where we can't see it. After planting the seed, it needs to be watered and cared for every day. Weeks go by, then months. Sometimes even years pass without anything visible above the ground. Most people would assume nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the bamboo is developing a deep and extensive root system. Those roots are preparing it to support rapid growth later on. Then, almost unexpectedly, the bamboo begins to shoot upward. In a short period of time, it can grow incredibly fast. Building an online business often feels exactly like that. For weeks or even months, it can seem as though your hard work isn't paying off. But every article you write, every video you publish, every skill you learn, and every mistake you overcome is strengthening your foundation. When your breakthrough finally comes, people may think it happened overnight. What they don't see are the months of steady work that made it possible. If you're in that root-building stage right now, don't underestimate its value. The work you're doing today is preparing you for tomorrow's success. Stop measuring the wrong things. One of the biggest motivation killers is focusing only on results you can't completely control. For example, I only got 10 views. I didn't make any sales. My website traffic dropped. Instead, measure what you can control. Ask yourself, did I publish my article? Did I upload my video? Did I improve my thumbnail? Did I learn something new today? Those are wins. Success comes from repeating those small wins consistently. The results usually follow later. Compare yourself only to yesterday. Social media makes comparison almost impossible to avoid. You see creators with 100,000 subscribers, thousands of comments, huge affiliate commissions, beautiful studios, professional editing. What you don't see is the years they spent getting there. Many successful creators uploaded hundreds of videos before anyone noticed them. Some worked for years before earning meaningful income. So just compare today's version of yourself with yesterday's version instead. Small improvements add up. Imagine improving by just 1% every day. That doesn't sound like much, but over months, those tiny improvements become enormous. Maybe today you learn better titles, tomorrow you improve your thumbnails, next week you understand SEO, and next month your videos become more engaging. None of those improvements feel life-changing on their own. Together, however, they completely transform your business. Celebrate tiny wins. One mistake many beginners make is they wait for huge milestones before celebrating. Like your first sale, 1,000 subscribers, or 10,000 visitors. Those are wonderful goals, but if you only celebrate those moments, you might spend months feeling like you're failing. Instead, celebrate your first published article, your first YouTube comment, your first email subscriber, your first affiliate click, or your first 100 website visitors. These small victories will remind you that progress is happening. Create systems instead of relying on motivation. Here's something that might surprise you. Successful people aren't always motivated. They simply build habits. Motivation comes and goes, whereas habits stay. For example, every Monday you write, every Wednesday you record, every Friday you edit, and every Saturday you schedule content. When creating becomes part of your routine, you don't have to wait until you feel inspired. You simply keep moving forward. Create a success journal. When results are slow, it's surprisingly easy to forget how far you've already come. That's why I recommend keeping what I like to call a success journal. Doesn't have to be fancy. A simple notebook or a document on your computer is enough. At the end of each week, write down 3 things you accomplished. Maybe you published another blog post, perhaps you finally learned how SEO works. Maybe you recorded your first video without feeling nervous, or perhaps you received your very first comment from someone who found your content helpful. When you're feeling discouraged, go back and read those entries. You'll quickly realize that you're making progress, even if it doesn't always show up in your website traffic or your bank account. Success isn't just measured by income, it's measured by the person you're becoming. Focus on helping people. Sometimes we become so focused on numbers that we forget why we started. Instead of asking, "Why am I not getting views?" ask, "Did I help someone today?" Maybe one person watched your video, maybe one person learned something useful, or maybe one beginner finally understood how to start their business. That's meaningful. If you consistently help people, the audience usually grows over time. Remember why you started. Whenever you feel discouraged, remind yourself why you began. Maybe you wanted more freedom, more family time, extra income, a career you enjoy, or the ability to work from anywhere. Those reasons matter, so write them down and keep them somewhere you'll see every day. That way, when results feel slow, your why helps you keep going. Expect setbacks. Every successful business owner experiences setbacks. Videos flop, articles don't rank, affiliate programs close, algorithms change, and technology breaks. These moments don't mean you've failed, they simply mean you're running a real business. The people who succeed aren't the ones who avoid these problems, they're the ones who keep solving them. Every expert was once a beginner. Sometimes we look at successful creators and imagine they've always known exactly what they were doing, but the truth is most of them started exactly where you are now. They didn't know how to edit videos, they didn't understand SEO, they struggled to write blog posts, they made mistakes, and likely lots of them. If you went back and looked at the first videos from many successful YouTubers, you'd probably notice shaky cameras, poor lighting, awkward introductions, and very few views. The difference wasn't talent, it was persistence. They kept improving one video at a time, one article at a time, one lesson at a time. It's easy to admire someone else's success, but it's far more helpful to remember their beginning. Everyone starts somewhere, today may be your beginning. Stop chasing every new trend. Another motivation killer is constantly switching direction. One week it's blogging, the next week it's dropshipping, and then Amazon. After that you might give AI a try, then cryptocurrency and print on demand. Every time you start over, you go back to zero. Instead, choose one path and give it enough time to work. Consistency beats constant restarting every time. Surround yourself with encouragement. Building an online business can sometimes feel lonely. Your friends may not understand what you're doing. Your family may ask things like, "Have you made any money yet?" That can all be discouraging. This is one reason many people benefit from joining communities filled with people working toward the same goal. Encouragement matters, and learning from others matters. Having someone remind you that slow progress is normal can make a huge difference. You don't have to figure everything out on your own. Of course, Learning everything on your own is possible. There are thousands of free videos, blog posts, and tutorials available online. But many beginners spend months jumping from one idea to another without knowing which advice to follow. That's one reason some of us choose to follow a structured program that lays everything out step by step. For example, the Legacy Builders program brings together beginner-friendly training, practical tools, and a supportive community designed to help people build an online business without feeling overwhelmed. Whether you learn on your own or follow a structured path, the important thing is to keep learning, keep taking action, and avoid giving up too soon. Imagine where you'll be 1 year from now. I'd like to leave you with a simple question. Where could you be 1 year from today if you refused to quit? Imagine publishing one blog article every week. That's more than 50 articles in a year. Imagine uploading one YouTube video every week. That's over 50 opportunities for people to discover your channel. Imagine learning just one new skill each month. In a year, you'll have knowledge that feels completely out of reach today. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a month, but they underestimate what they can achieve in a year. Your future success isn't built in one giant leap. It's built through hundreds of small decisions made consistently over time. So don't focus on where you wish you were, focus on taking the next step, then take another and another. One day you'll look back and realize those small steps added up to something much bigger than you ever imagined. If you take just one message away from today's video, let it be this. Slow progress is still progress. Every successful online business once looked invisible. Every successful YouTuber once had 0 subscribers. Every successful website once had 0 visitors. Every expert was once a beginner. So don't let slow results convince you that you're failing. Just keep learning, keep improving, and keep showing up, because the people who eventually succeed usually aren't the smartest. They simply stayed in the game long enough for their hard work to pay off. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I share practical tips every week to help beginners build an online business with confidence, even if you're starting from scratch. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one goal you're working toward right now, and what's keeping you motivated to continue? Remember, your breakthrough might be much closer than you think.